Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. I mentioned in my Diablo videos that I wanted to post some Mass Effect stuff, and you know what? I figured why not start with Mass Effect 3's demo. So I'm just showing that I am playing on Insanity, and the skills that I took, I just took what made sense at the time. I didn't really try to optimize. I don't know all the ins and outs of this game. I'm sorry, but I will be editing out a lot. I, of course, did die a number of times throughout this sequence, though not this first one. I one-shotted that. It's not hard. But I had to in order to fit the YouTube 15-minute limit. I think I'm right, like exactly at it with this video, and the final boss took up about half of it, so I wanted to show that all the way through, and I didn't want to make two parts with the second part just being the boss, so it is what it is. I am playing a Vanguard. This is my first full playthrough of the demo. I have played it before, but just in bits and pieces. Right there I was testing out how far away can I be from a grenade, or will this cover protect me from the grenade where I'm positioned? And the answer is no. Very nearly one-shotted me there. I am getting used to the new controls. I didn't realize that ordering a squad mate to attack automatically uses a particular ability. I still don't know how to set that particular ability, if it's always concussive shot for Garrus and singularity for Liara. I don't know. I'll find that out later, I'm sure. I'll probably actually post a video for each class on Insanity. We'll see. I'll definitely be posting at least one more. So that was the end of that as far as the interesting footage went. I tried to just show all of the highlights of the gameplay. If I had shown absolutely everything, including all of my deaths, it would have been about 50 minutes, I think it took to get through it without knowing what to do and what have you. So I think Mass Effect 3 is quite a bit harder on Insanity than Mass Effect 2. I think the fact that you only regenerate health up to a certain point, unless you use a health pack, makes it quite a bit harder. I do like the fact that some enemies have red bars that can be controlled. That's definitely strategic, but you get ripped to shreds if you just step out of cover for a very short period of time, and considering that happened in Mass Effect 2, I think it's even shorter in Mass Effect 3 as far as how quickly you die. But that's fine. More challenge the better. It is Insanity. So just showing wiping out these turrets. Very difficult to do on a Vanguard. They say, "Ma, flank them, you know, stop being retarded and facing them head on." Yeah, there's really no way to flank them as a Vanguard. You have no way to move without instantly dying, because you'll, you know, if you charge into them, you'll instantly die. And no real ranged abilities, so it was just an issue of, as I demonstrated, hiding behind the wall and waiting for them to come to me and slowly taking them out, and then going after the turrets once the engineers were down, because the engineers repair them. This is a really cool area. I really like the top going up and the enemies coming after you. You'll see that in a second. I was actually also able to make pretty good use of charge in this area. The other areas were such kill zones, such bottlenecks, I really wasn't able to use it at all, beyond just finishing off the last enemy. But here it was quite useful, as you will see in a bit. Boom! Headshot. I'm not sure if I would say the Vanguard's better. He seems to be about the same as far as his abilities go. Maybe a little more potent at range. Nova, I'm not showing Nova, but he's stronger in so far as he can use his biotic abilities against red bar enemies much more readily. So I guess there is that. So he definitely is stronger at range than he used to be. But Nova using up your shields makes it, I mean, I used it, tried it out in a different playthrough when I was just testing abilities, and it seemed to be pretty suicidal on Insanity, so I don't really know how much use I'll be able to get out of that. Maybe against lots of less powerful enemies or so. But as I said, getting some good use of charge on this upper level. A lot of enemies alone where you can take advantage of them. Take advantage of them, dirty advantage. Here I realized again that I'm using the Eviscerator shotgun, and the Eviscerator shotgun is even better at range in Mass Effect 3 than it was in Mass Effect 2. It's actually very, very potent at range. In this game, much more so than Mass Effect 2. It was kind of just a little perk in Mass Effect 2, but Mass Effect 3, it's very effective, assuming you can get a lot of pellets on enemies and get good meat shots at them. If I have a complaint, it's that the cover system is a little wonky. I roll sometimes into not going into cover when I thought I'd go into cover, or I go on the wrong side of cover, which is really annoying. I believe there is a button that you can press to adjust where you are in cover. Oh noes! Almost die here. but I didn't have it bound, or I didn't know what it was at the time. Maybe I'll figure that out in my next video. Again, I did die a number of times. This is a 15-minute video. It took me 50 minutes to get all the way through the demo or so, including the early tutorial and, you know, the easy beginning stuff. And that's skipping the dialogue, so definitely was challenging. I was very pleased by the end of it. And here we're at the boss battle. Yes, the boss battle is about half of this video. It was very long, it was freaking annoying, and it was freaking difficult as a Vanguard. All you can do as a Vanguard, unless there's a different way to spec, that would be better off. And these guys are also extremely annoying. I made sure, I had already died at least once or twice against this boss. I made sure this time to take out these guys first and just rape them in the butt, as I just did with that shotgun. Yeah, and enemies throw grenades way more frequently too. It's really gotten a number of deaths just from grenades. Like, I hope I can't get out of cover right now. There's a grenade next to me. I hope it doesn't kill me, or it's just far enough away not to kill me. But no, definitely most of the time. No, it definitely was close enough to kill me. Nothing I could do. Couldn't get out of cover at the time. I would have been gunned down instantly. Turrets were shooting at me or whatever. Again, another grenade. Ah! I mean, this boss doesn't insta-give you like a lot of the big mechs in Mass Effect 2. What were they called? Not Loki, not Fenrir. Yimmer mech, that's what they were called, Yimmer mech, something like that. I don't know how to speak Norse. So, yeah, this fight definitely very difficult on the Vanguard. Not sure, and I didn't try this. Now that I think about it, I should have tried it. I assumed that charge would be useless against this guy. I assumed that if I charged him, he would basically instantly kill me, just as Mechs did in Mass Effect 2. However, he might be susceptible to circle strafing. I do believe he has a melee attack, so I don't know how effective circle strafing would be, but you might be able to joust him as well, where you just shoot and then move out of range of his melee and then charge back in, and you know, and so on and so on. But I don't really see it working. I will have to try that at some point just to see. But assuming it doesn't work, you know, one of the fundamental flaws of the Vanguard in Mass Effect 2 was just the fact that on most bosses, the vast majority of bosses, charge was fairly useless. Generally speaking, it would just get you killed, depending on the situation. It also did little for mobility, you know, outside of having some trash guys to charge to get away from something. You can't charge against, you know, environmental stuff. Speaking of which, I think I just realized that there's no more, at least in the demo, no more environmental damage in Mass Effect 3. There's no more exploding canisters or anything. That kind of sucks. I definitely like that in Mass Effect 2. So, but yeah, I would assume that pretty much every other class would have a much easier time of killing this boss than the Vanguard. I mean, I have no ranged attacks whatsoever that can damage him. I have no anti-shield stuff beyond overload for Garrus, and it doesn't do much. It takes a lot of overload. This thing has just a massive shield. And, you know, I assumed once the shield went down, well, he'll go down much faster, you know? I mean, if his shield is so powerful, then clearly, surely, his armor must be fairly weak, right? Right? But no, his armor is actually ridiculously strong as well. This is, I mean, again, this is what, a 10-minute boss fight, just about? Close to that? If not longer. So pretty rough on the Vanguard. Party members don't really do much. And just getting shots against this guy are so dangerous. I mean, it's really hard to time your shots because he doesn't really telegraph what he's doing, which I applaud them for that. I mean, the Yimmer mechs were very obvious when they were, you know, revving up their minigun to shoot you, and then you knew when the rockets were coming. And you can time the rockets pretty easily. He does show that visibly. But he doesn't really do anything when he's shooting his little hit-scan explosive shells. I mean, he just shoots them. There's really nothing to indicate it. So, really rough to time just to pop out when you have no distractions like a drone or just having invisibility or slow time, you know, shepherd time, adrenaline rush, or even just having the luxury of having souped up armor, insanely good armor as a Sentinel, and a Sentinel has both warp and, you know, freaking overload, so we can deal with both of his defenses easily. And what does that leave? I mean, the only class I could foresee being anywhere near as difficult to kill this guy, or enemies like him, as the Vanguard would have to be the Adept. And even the Adept has Warp. I don't see Singularity doing much to this guy. I doubt it'll slow him down at all. it hopefully has the Swiss Army knife effect of Mass Effect 2, where it'll do damage to the enemy regardless of their defense and just kind of slowly whittle them down. But I mean, it's not going to be that effective, and none of the CC abilities, Shockwave, you know, pull, throw, any of those are going to really have any effect on him. So I imagine the Adept will have a rough time as well. But I still think it'll probably be easier just because they have Warp. And they can use their Warp along with Liara's or whoever, you know, when you actually play the game, whoever other party member you have an effect that can take down armor. So, yeah, definitely a rough fight. Very slow fight. And, of course, through about half of it, I had one little, you know, health tick left. So that was just great for my nerves. And right there, like, oh, great. Whenever I'm hit once, I am inches, not inches, centimeters, millimeters away from death. Phenomenal. And, you know, I never know when he's facing me or he's facing a party member, and he just slowly moves towards you, and you just try to, you know, get cover and outmaneuver him, and it's just very stressful experience on a Vanguard. We will see how it goes on the other classes, which I will be making videos for, but pretty rough there, guys. Pretty rough. And he also uses those smoke, you know, canisters, which add even more difficulty, and I don't know... I think I only risked it a couple of times, but I was very afraid to shoot him through the smoke, because I was really afraid that he was going to rocket me when that was happening, but he doesn't seem to shoot you when the smoke is up. He doesn't seem to shoot through his own smoke. I'm not sure about that, though. I was really afraid to risk it, considering I was, you know, 5 minutes into a boss fight when that started happening. I do like the smoke, though. I like also just when the regular grunt units use it. It's kind of like the flashbang grenade, only... not as annoying, and it lasts longer and is more... See, right there, he just used the melee attack and attack Liara. Yeah, fortunately, once he starts getting, you know, once the shield's down and he starts getting hurt, he starts, you know, fumbling like that, and he starts having electricity shoot through him. Though then again, you know, just because... That's the thing, though, too. When he starts getting weak, you have the tendency to kind of overextend on him and, you know, stay out of cover longer than you should, open up on him longer than you should, then you get a rocket in the face. You need to be careful about that as well. It also was... and unfortunately, it didn't take long to whittle back down, but he also seems to recover shields if you don't attack him fast enough. Or something. He just all of a sudden had a quarter of his shields back, or a third of his shields back all of a sudden, which I think you saw me whittle down again. So I'm not sure about that as well, but that was definitely demoralizing considering how long it took to take his shield down. But it didn't seem to take too long to take down his secondary shield, so maybe that's weaker. I'm not really sure. This is a long freaking boss fight. Pretty intense. I mean, considering how near death he is right now, and the fact that we still have a solid, like, 3 minutes left. 2 minutes left, or so. Pretty nuts. Happy, though. This is definitely the hardest boss I think I've ever faced in a demo, ever. So, good to see. For sure. But overall, I am definitely pleased with the changes they've made to the game. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the full game, seeing the characters more in depth. I'm very excited about the variety of weapons in the game and the fact that you can mod them and get scopes on assault rifles and, you know, whatever different things. I definitely would like to try out the sniper rifle. There aren't any sniper rifles in the demo, unfortunately. That was probably, you know, done on purpose, because that... They know a lot of their players play infiltrators, and most players, I mean the majority of players, or maybe not the majority, but the most played class by far is the soldier, and a lot of people play sniper soldier with the bullet time and all that stuff, so you gotta leave something out to encourage players to buy the game, especially if they're on the fence, you know, smart business practices. But this is finally coming towards a close. Yeah, unfortunately, a bit anticlimactic there. Smoke was entirely blocking him when he died, so really didn't get to see that beyond the explosion. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for videos for the other classes. Be sure to subscribe, like, you know, whatever. Check out my channel to see other videos. I do other stuff as well. Alright guys, have a good one.